So, good evening, guys. So, today we are going to continue from our last activity, that is about introduction and installation. Now that most of us have already installed our Vue project, so I'm going to start by installing my own and now go dive fully into the work, how to work around the Vue. So, I'm creating a new folder where I want my Vue project to be created into, and the folder now is going to call Vue website, just like you guys have done the last class now. So now I want to access the folder. I'll open it right here. So I'll copy the part of this folder to my command prompt in the Node.js command prompt. So here now I'm loading all the command prompt for the Node.js now. This is my Node.js and this is the Node.js command prompt. So from this Node.js command prompt, I will change directly to the part I copy, and I will click on paste. Now I'm that particular part. So the next thing for me now is to create my new project now in Vue. I call Vue create. My project I'm going to call Ashabi stores. That's all. So I press enter key. But don't forget that creating this project requires the internet or your system. Do you get it now? So system asking me that I'm using version 3, so I'll press enter to access the version 3 here now. That's the version the project I'm going to be creating now. So this time around now, system has started downloading all the necessary file that we need to work on my Vue now. The necessary library that system is going to start downloading them, setting them up for me for my new project, because creating this Vue project means that all the necessary library I will needed for my new website is being prepared automatically. The structure I'm going to prepare for this particular project and all the starting up file that we need for this particular new website is being installing online directly, and this might take time depend on your own on your internet speed on your system. That is it. So without ongoing again, let me now give us the information of what we are going to looking at on this particular Vue. The last time we have seen the what is the Vue and its advantage on how Vue fit into the web development. So now we have seen how we can be able to set up our project using a tool like Vite or Vue CLI. Vue CLI is a command line interface, while Vite is when we are using an interface, graphical user interface, to create a Vue. But the one we are using now is a command line interface to create our Vue. That is to initiate a new project. The command like Vue create, which I just used now. So after that is complete, we will now go into this particular section about component. But we are still going to review the Vue project to see how the content of the project will look like. We are going to explore it. After that, we are going to look at what the component is. We are still going to look at what we call a Vue directive. All the directives are just like an instruction that can use in Vue to perform a different task, like V model directive, V if for conditional statement, V for loop, V bind to bind your JavaScript code to variable to the element, V on for clicking event, and so on. We will learn more about this particular statement. So let me check my ongoing Vue installation now. So installation is still ongoing now. So I think that very soon it will soon complete. And the moment this installation is complete, then I will need to open it on the Visual Studio Code environment for us to start editing this particular file. So just for the moment again, project. I didn't create a project. It is you guys, you created your own project. So I'm creating my own project now, so that whatever the activity I'm doing now, you guys can also follow it on your own system too. Do you get it now? I have not created my project. It is you guys, you created your project now. And you remember the location where you store your project to, the folder you save your project to. So that is it. So my project creation is complete now. You can see system say successfully created the project Ashabi store. That's my website, that's my app now. So to start this particular, there are two ways. You can start working with this project on the command line. Do you get it now? By chain directly to this folder for your project, or you can start working with this project with the Visual Studio Work code now. But since I'm going to work with this project on Visual Studio Code, let me first look at the file explorer here. You can see the folder. I create this particular website, view website folder on the folder where we store our file. And it is inside this particular view website folder my new view project is, which is called Asabi Store. So if I open it here, you can see all the files the creation have already copied for me. During the process of creation, all these files were generated, and all these files are very important for what? For our view website now. So it means this is our environment we'll be working with now. So we have to understand which file is most important to us here, which is not most important. So to start modifying this particular project, I will return to what? Visual Studio Code, so that I can open that view website I just created in the Visual Studio Code. So what I need to do in my Visual Studio Code is to select open world the folder here. When I select open folder, I will now go to the world, to the directory where I created the project into, and directory where the project saved into is right here now under this section. You can see this is the directory where my project folder is. I will open the directory too, which is a folder. I must open this folder by double clicking it. Good. This exact folder I needed. Remember this. So when I now select the folder I needed, I don't need to open it. I'll just click on select folder. Then the view is going to work. The Visual Studio Code is going to open my view website directly like this. So once you see your project name here, that means you have successfully opened the view project properly. That is it because a lot of people mistakenly open it. So now all this file is our environment now. This is not like an HTML whereby we are creating all our web pages. But we must understand the importance of all the folder in this view here before we need to start work with it. The first folder you see here in view is called node module. This folder contains all the library downloaded when the system is creating this project for us. All these are the important library we will be needing for our view, especially this particular at view, at type, at sideway, and so on like that. So all these are the what? Are the view libraries. This library are the JavaScript code already written. So you don't do anything with this particular folder. Do you get it now? Because all the instructions you are going to be using, they are coming from this node modules. The module are already written program that perform the different type of the function. So you don't do anything with it. The second folder is public folder. This public folder is the only folder that contains the index page in view. We said view is used to create a single page website. And the reason why we have a single page website is that only one index page is there. So when I open this index page here now, you can see there's nothing on it than the body some few information. Do you get it now? So you don't work on this folder, you don't modify this folder, you don't touch it. Do you get it now? That is the rule here. So you need to know that the only index page the view work on is this particular index page here. So I can now close this one now. That is it. Now the next folder you see is a public folder. This public folder is a working folder. Is the folder you'll be working with all the time when you are working on Vue.js. If you want to work on Vue.js, this is the main folder you needed. Inside this SRC folder, there's another folder we have here, we call it asset. Asset is the folder that contains your images, videos, and the audio. If you want to use image in your Vue website, you put that image in this asset folder. You can see now there's a default folder here already called logo.png. So that is it. You can add more picture to this particular asset folder. Don't forget this folder is called asset. Now the next folder here is called component. Very good. Component are the what? Are the user interface we are creating in Vue. Every user interface you want to be designed in your Vue, they must be existing, they must be saved inside this component folder. It means that for whatever page we are creating in Vue, we call it a component. Just like in HTML, when you say you create a page, to display a specific information, specific interface. In Vue, we call it what? Component. So we don't have what we call what? A page. We call it what? Component. Component is just like a page. So for any type of the interface you want to create in Vue now, you have to create a component, and that component must be inside this folder called component. By default, the Vue project we created already create a what? A component for us, which is called hello world. This component is just to display a message and go to tell us welcome to Vue world environment. So the hello world is just to create one, is just to display a welcome message. Very soon we see the content of this hello world. Do you get now? So for any other interface you want to create in your Vue, which is a component, they must be inside the folder called component. After that again, we have another Vue file here. We call it app Vue. This app Vue is a main component in Vue. This app Vue is a component that go to control all the other components you are going to be created in your Vue. So it means that what? Anytime you create a component for your any interface, for that component to what? To display the interface that is there, the component must be calling inside this app Vue. So when I open this particular Vue component now, the content of it is just like an HTML page, JavaScript and CSS. Very soon you understand why the content is like this for this particular Vue. Do you get now? You will only need the app Vue anytime you are working on your Vue project, and the content of the app Vue is not difficult. Part of the content of the app Vue is contain HTML code, another part contain the JavaScript, while the last part contain the what? The CSS. For every time you are creating a component in Vue, these are the three type of code you have to be put inside it. Then we have another file inside the src folder we call main.js. This is the main JavaScript in Vue that determine how the Vue is going to be execute. You get it now? So without this particular main.js, no Vue project can be executed. This main.js is a file that link your component to the index page we said it is available in the public folder here. You get now? So it is the main.js that make this particular component being returned to the index page. So apart from all this particular folder and file we talk about here, the remaining file we have here is the configuration file in Vue for babel config, gsconfig, package log configuration, because all this one contain different type of the libraries or module that already appearing here. How each of the module are being defined for different configuration. The package JSON here contain different type of the module you already and make available in your project here. They are just registering all those modules. You can see node.wall, node IPC here now. There are many other modules again that already register here, and that is one of the purpose of this. So if there's any module again you install later, automatically your Vue.js is going to register it in the package log JSON file here. So Vue.js config again is the final configuration here now. So that is all what about the structure of this particular Vue project. Like I told you, the folder you'll be working with regularly is going to be this folder called SRC. Now, since we create our Vue project now for the first time, how can we run a Vue project? Because this is already created project, is a functioning website as you see this one here now, which you just created already now. But you can test it to see how it works. Because each time you create a new project in Vue, it must be tested to see how it works. To run a Vue project is not the way we run HTML. To run a Vue project, you will return to environment called terminal. So once you click on the file menu here now, you will see terminal here. Once you click on the menu, once you click on the terminal, click on new terminal. A terminal appear on the wall at the bottom page of your Vue environment here now. So and make sure your terminal is showing the name of your website folder like this, Ashabi store. Do you get now? Then you can now test this particular project by type the command called npm run serve. That is the command you use to run the Vue project. We want to test our Vue project to compile all the code there, whether they are working or not. We type npm run serve, then press your enter key. System will start the development server. System go to start the development server. So this development server here is the one we need to run the view work project. Okay. So system start the development server and then compile all the code whether there is any error or not. You can see the feedback here that compilation is successful, there is no error. And after that again, system will now automatically generate a URL for you to test this view project. Yes? Okay, that has cut off. Okay, so after the compilation is successful here, the view will now generate a URL for you to test run your project now. And the U didn't cut his internet. I will still repeat that one again because of time. We will repeat that process again. So now, the moment you compile your project, it will return this particular URL for your project because every URL have a port number. The project you are working now, the view is already help us mute your speaker there. There's a noise background there. Okay. So the project you created now, the moment you compile it, system generate this URL. And the URL here is for local testing, which is localhost 8080. Because of the name of your system you are using currently now, system give you a localhost, and this is the equivalent IP address for that the same system. The port number here, which is 8080, represent that this is your first project. Once another project is going to run, the port number might change. Just a minute, please. So once this URL is generated, you can copy the URL here and paste it on your on your browser. And to copy it, just press enter key. Then launch any of your browser you are using and paste the URL on that browser. You can see now and press enter key. So this automatically execute your V project. So the V project we just created, I can see this as a store on the title bar here. And then all this information you see display here is just to show that your view project you created is successful. When you see welcome to your Vue.js app, it means the view project you created is successful. You get now? Because this is the first component. This information that is coming from here is coming from this initial component you have here, which I call the hello world component inside the component folder here. That's where the message is coming from. If I open that component too, the component you see here is made up of what? It's made up of HTML code. You can see install plugin here now. Maybe now I'm calling this one I'm changing this information on the install plugin. I'm changing it to what? I am learning Vue.js. You get now? The moment I save this particular this hello world component, you will notice that the information I have here, which is install plugin here, will automatically change too. For example now, the moment I return back here and now click on save, it means that and I return back here, you can see I'm learning Vue.js now. That will tell you how fast the execution of the Vue project is. There's no need for you to refresh your page anytime you modify the content of your component. Do you get it now? The secondly, you will see that there's nothing like image here. If I go to app view here now, the app view here is where I add the image to my view. They add the image to the view because this is the main app component. Do you get it now? And how come this hello world information displaying in view? This is what we are going to describe how the Vue project work. For your Vue project to work, these are the three important files you need to understand. The first one is the hello world. Second one is app and the main.js. The hello world is the component we created. Do you get now? to display any of your HTML page or interface. So once this particular component is created, you will now import the component into the app view. This is where they import the Hello World component into the app view. Do you get it now? Because we want to use this app view to run this Hello World. You cannot run this Hello World. View cannot run the Hello World component automatically by itself. You have to import your component into the app view for that component to work. And once you import this Hello World into the app view, we give it alias name called Hello World. After that again, on the export section here, under the component here, you are now going to register that alias name for that component. It means the component you created, you already give it a name called Hello World component. This is where we register it. And the last thing to do is to now use that component inside the template section here now. So we are using Hello World here now. So this means what? Whatever information we are putting in this Hello World is now going to appear inside the template. Do you get now? But apart from that again, that is the app view. But the app view too is a component. Do you get it now? So the information in the app view, we are now going to import into the main.js here now. This main.js is where they import the app view too into. They import this app view that contain Hello World into the main.js here, and they give it a name create world app. So when they are now creating this particular app using this app view, the app they are creating here, they want to add it to the index page we have here. You know there's index in public_html, which I tell you that the only index page we have is index.html. It's in the public folder. So the app component here is what they want to load in this index. So when they are creating the app component here, they give it a name called app, #app. So when they give it the name called #app, in the index.html here now, we are now calling this #app here. And this #app is what they call on line 14 here. How did they call it? They use ID app. So it means that whatever information you already have inside the Hello World component and the app view, everything go to display inside the line 14 div. You know, div is a tag that can be used to display any group of component or any group of interface. And that's why that the only page system we only go to run is index.html here. If you have thousands of components in view, all those components only running inside this particular index page. You'll be seeing when we create two more components now, and as long as you are calling the app view in the index page here, everything fall in line. Let me use another diagrammatical structure to explain how this one work. In a view now, this is our index.html. This file is index page in view environment, the only index page. And here now is a component you have created. Maybe you create this component to display a button. Do you get it now? A component is creating for button you created there now. So once you create your component for the button, your component must be import into this particular another component called app component here now. Do you get now? That means here now you import this button here and you give it a name. Maybe you call it BTWN. That is it. So once you import into this particular view, then the app view itself is now going to be import into another file that is called main.js again. These are main.js now. So the moment you import this particular app view into the main.js, you are giving this app view a name #app. That means #app. You know, this is like an ID selector in CSS. It's like I'm giving it ID selector now. And since this particular the app view I call in the main.js is being given the name app, I will now call this selector name in the index page. So my index page here, there is already a div they prepare in the index page, and inside that div they want to call this app. That's why they use ID for the div equal to app. So automatically every information you already have in this button component here, automatically they all going to to be loaded into to the index page through this process. Your main component is the button here now, and then you call your component in the app view here, and your app view is called in the main.js, and from the main.js what you call this. So when you are creating your project in view, you will be working with two components. The other one is going to be automatically carried out. The two components you will be working with regularly when you are working on Vue.js is going to be your app component and your component like this. These are the two areas you are going to be working all the time. You see this main.js, you don't work at it again. You don't work on it again because program is already well defined. So that is how this project work. And also, this is how the structure of your Vue project is. Now, I want to clear every information on this hello world. I want to discard it from this app view. So here now I'm commenting this import of the hello world here now, and also commenting the hello world register here, and I also comment everywhere I have the hello world inside the app component here now. Can you see? Once I save this particular page, you see what happened here now. Can you see my page? Only thing that remain is the logo. Do you get now? And that is it. So if I return back here again, if you look at the app component, it means the logo is the only information in this app component here. Only thing that is open world is logo. That means this index page is displaying the logo that that already insert into this particular app component. Now, let's say I want to create my own component now that I'm going to have just a simple message, maybe for the I want to call it header. So inside the component folder here, you right click it like this. You now click on new file, you create your component in Vue. That means I'm creating my first component, because component, like I told you, represent the user interface in Vue. So when you are giving your component, I'm calling it header page. There's a rule you have to follow when you are naming your Vue file. You have to use two-word naming convention, and each word must start with a capital letter. Vue as an extension. Don't forget, you are using two words for name of your component in Vue. Header page. The H for the header is capital, P for page is capital. Don't use lowercase at all. And extension .vue, you press enter key. System open a new page for me now. So your Vue component consists of three section when you are creating a Vue component. The first section in the Vue component is going to contain HTML code. Second section is going to contain the script. And third is going to contain the CSS style. Do you get it now? So when you now want to include this component, we have a template here. The template section in the Vue in the component here represent where you put in your HTML interface. So I'm creating a div to group them together now. So this section is going to contain my HTML. So whatever interface you want your Vue to display, you put the tag to display that interface here now. So after that again, if your Vue is going to need a script section, JavaScript, you will now create a script page here now for your Vue. Do you get it now? But there are some instructions here we don't need, so I can remove it for now. This is going to be your JavaScript section in Vue. While the top part here is the CSS style. I say style component in Vue here now. So if there's going to be a need for CSS style, it will be written here. So that means if you are creating a Vue component, this must be the structure for the Vue component. To see how this one is, some of the HTML code we have been using before for different interface, I can put it here now. By coming down here, I'm now using H1 for my header now. I'm going to see Ashabi stores. That is it now. You can see. And this time around now, I want to apply some CSS to Big Established Store to make it look more attractive. So let me look at the previous site we have created now to pick some CSS there for this Ashabi store now. So back to here and back to here and this is where we have our CSS file here now. Let me see how we apply CSS style to this index page here. You can want to use the same. Okay, oh, we don't even do it. Maybe I'll use this navigation too. Okay, so but this time around now, I want to write some CSS to style that one as be store. I call it .wall .hwall dot header now. .wall header. Okay, that's a class CSS. And that's equal text wall, text decoration, okay, text decoration. I say wall overline. That's one again. Okay, and I say what text wall. What other line I want to use now? I want to say of okay, okay, okay. Let me save this one now and see font weight. Okay, font weight and make it what bold now. So I just want to add these two CSS. I will return back here again and I say class what equal what header. Okay, that is it now. Oh, class equal what header. Okay, good. Now that I'm through with this new component I built there for Asabi store, and I want the text to be at the center. I'll say text align center. Okay, that is it again. So these are the words I just added to this information. I'll save this component. Now for this component to execute, I must import into this particular app view. Do you get now? And to import in, I will now type of import. I'll give it alias name. I call it what header. I'll now say from. So you open your quotation like this, single quote, say dot slash component. The reason why I'm selecting component that well, my header page component I created now is inside this folder called component. So I select the component. I will say slash again. The name of the component I'm importing is header page. You can see now. That is it. After I import the component into my app view component now, I will now register it here again. By registering it, I will use this alias name here, which is header. I'll put header here too. That is it. So once I've registered it, the last thing to do is to use this component here now. And to use it, I can use it like an HTML tag. So if I want the title to come before this logo, I'll put it up here. If I want it after the logo, I can put it here again now. And now open a tag like this and say what H header. You can see now I'm using something like a simple a empty tag here now. I can use the word. I can also call it like this again by say what header, open and close tag again. So this what you see here mean this particular header will appear 2 times. So the moment I save this here now, I can now learn the word. I want to repeat what you asked before, the question you asked now. I want to now execute this program again from the terminal. I will return to the menu. From the menu, I will see terminal word command. From terminal, I will now click on the new terminal. So the terminal is now open right here now. So when the terminal open now, I can now type this command to run it from terminal called npm run wall serve. That is it. I just created a new component called header page. So then I press enter key. This npm will start the development server. After that, it will start compiling to checking for the error in my component I just built now. Once there's no error, it will now return the URL for me to run the program. The reason why system returning 8081 now is that what this is the first terminal I'm using is still running. But since I'm launching a new terminal now, that's why it's giving this one 8081. The first terminal is here. You can see that one is still have information called what 8080. Can you see? Because the second terminal is calling what 8081, but it is the same project. So what I need to do now is what? Instead of copy this, I can hold down my control key and point your mouse to the word to the local URL and click it once. Once you click it once, system will automatically open this view project on your Microsoft Edge browser. Can you see now? You can see this Asabi store appear twice simply because I called the component for it twice here. The first one is this second one again. So I can remove one of them because I want it to appear twice now, once. So when I remove it, I click on save again and return it back to what? To here. You can see now. That's Asabi store now. You get it now? So this is just showing how to design it. Maybe I don't want this logo too. That are coming from view. I can return back to the world to this particular app view and remove this word logo here. You get it now? But let me comment it now. I click on it there, I comment it. Can you see again? Logo is no longer there. But when I save this page again and I return back here again, you can see only Asabi store now appearing here now. So any HTML page interface can be displayed here. You get it now? And this one serves as well as the header. Do you get now? Maybe I want to display this particular section here properly by using our layout or div. You can start writing your div for the layout for it. But for now, this is site title. This is just header component. Let me say I want to create another component again. And this time around now, that component is going to be what? To be used for the navigation. You know, the first component I created there is called what? Header component. And that component is to display what? The header here now. You see, I didn't work on the main.js again. I can create another component for the navigation. The type of the navigation we have here, I want to implement it. Do you get now? Maybe I want to use something like this layer where I have this table, it can be used again. What I just need to do now is what? If I return to this particular folder where this particular HTML code is here now, so that means I will be needing the CSS for it too. But let me create my new component now using for the navigation now. I will return back to the component here. I will say new component again. I will call it navigation page now dot view. Okay, that's it now. And just like this particular header, I have to define the three section there, the template, script, and style. So I can copy this section which I already have here now. I return to navigation, I pasted it again. So because I don't need this CSS, I remove it. I don't need this header here, I remove it. So I want to define my own new navigation here now. Okay, so I'm going to use the navigation we already used in this HTML here, which is this one here, is what I want to use now. So I will return back to that HTML code there and open it. So the index page we already used in HTML, I'm opening it here now. So here is the section for that one navigation. You can see here now. So I can copy the code for it, which is this table here. I will now return to my view again. I will paste the code inside there. Can you see? That is it. But the only problem I'm going to have now is the image I'm using is not going to be like that. Do you get now? So I don't have this image. The image that is appearing on this particular site is not there. So I'm going to looking for the same image here now. So that will show us how to add the image to our view project. So I'm returning to the folder here. I will copy this image, which is this logo I'm using here now. Okay, so maybe I can copy some other product again. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let me save it before I copy the video. Thank you for reminding me that section here now. Okay, so